good that if he's able to be elected, it will smooth the way for this open system to become a reality.
Is the big draw of your league the promotion and relegation?
There's more to it than that, of course, but that is kind of what gets most of the headlines. The elimination of entry fees, elimination of territorial rights are also important. Our advocacy and assistance for those who want it to have fan ownership initiatives so that part of a team can be owned by the fans themselves is part of this. But really having this open to any club in the country, they can be part of it, and they can end up at any level within that structure based on how they perform on the field. Certain minimum standards, which right now are set by U.S. Soccer, have to be adhered to. But in that context, if you win your level the next year, you get to play at one level higher, and you can keep on going to the top level of soccer in this country.
Peter, what markets are you hoping to expand into? I mean, are you trying to go into some markets that MLS is already in, or are you trying to go to markets that MLS isn't in?
There's really any market in the U.S. for an open system. It can work anywhere, just like in the rest of the world. And that's why we eliminated the restrictions on territorial rights, because the best thing that can happen to a soccer team is to have another soccer team open down the street. It adds a rivalry. It adds passion. It incentivizes quality. We have teams in small markets like Chattanooga that want to be part of this, and we have teams in large markets like Miami that want to be part of this. It can work at any level. Obviously, larger markets have more access to more revenue through more ticket sales, more sponsor sales, more broadcast revenue. And just like in the rest of the world, it's the larger markets have an advantage to raise more money and spend it on players and then be promoted higher. But it doesn't mean you can't. Absolutely will be our versions of the Green Bay Packers in this model.
Right.
And Chattanooga is the one that kind of makes sense as you look at it, but I don't think Chattanooga will be the only small market team that will have ambition and will want to have the opportunity to grow. And league gives that opportunity. And also, part of the fan ownership initiative is to create opportunities for the fans to build roots for these teams in their communities, so they'll not only be more successful because of those connections and ability to become part of the fabric of the community, but if the roots are there, the team cannot move, nor should it. And so that's another aspect of this league, I think, that's taking hold with fans across the country.
Now, you're looking at trying to expand to 24 teams, and on the NISA website, you have a plan of doing that in 4 years. Are you still gunning for that 4 years to expand to 24 teams?
It's actually, a couple of things. One, the total number of teams we're looking at is 128. 20 in the first division, 20 in the second division, 24 in the third division, and 64 in the fourth division. And the market will decide how quickly that happens.
Right.
We could very well have a dozen or more teams in the third division when we launch in 2019, and we should have at least one regional fourth division set up in 2019 with 8 teams, and I could see having 2 or 3. So your question about 4 years, yeah, it's obviously kind of a stake in the ground that we aim for. I think it's very realistic. I think it could actually be quicker than that.
Wow. So, I mean, talking about that, what exactly is the timetable for the league, and when can we expect the first game to actually take place?
And the short answer is spring of 2019, at their stated goal of launching. That being said, if some things fall in place over the next couple of weeks, there would be a chance to launch after the World Cup in 2018, and perhaps there's some momentum now to switch to a European schedule and launch in the fall, essentially, or late summer of 2018, and go with a fall-spring calendar.
Well, it's amazing to see U.S. soccer just change it before our eyes. I mean, we are.
I love this idea.
I mean, from a fan's perspective, taking the journalists out of us, this is very fascinating because it's not creating 3 leagues with small amount of teams. You're looking at 128 teams here, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this collides with MLS, USL, and USSF.
Well, and importantly, too, guys, the vision is to connect it to the top amateur leagues in the country. So you have a foundation of hundreds, if not thousands, of adult men's teams of varying qualities that will have their own tiers and their own promotion and relegation that will connect to these 4 professional tiers. Right. And so that foundation is almost unlimited.
Well, Peter, we don't want to take too much of your time. We just want to thank you so much for joining us. It's our shameless plug here, so where can we find you? Where can we get connected with NISA for our listeners?
Our website is NISAofficial.com, NISAofficial.com. On social, we can be found on Twitter at NISA League, and I'm at Peter Wilt 1.
Well, thanks again, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
And best of luck with the league.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Let me tell you something, Steven.
What?
If this goes as Peter Wilt plans, and like I've said, I've told you off the record many times that Peter Wilt is one of the most underrated soccer people in, I would say, the nation in terms of his visions and what he helps to bring in his experience. If this happens, and let's say down the road, you see NISA rise up as a direct competitor with MLS.
This is so fascinating. Like,
I mean,
the website is not. I have to say, the website's kind of confusing on their vision. I'm a little confused because they want to create promotion relegation through the systems, but I guess they want to create a first division that competes right alongside MLS.
It's almost like there's 2 different pyramids.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No,
there's one that involves the MLS and USL, and they're kind of allies of sorts. And then you look, and you also have the other one, which is the one with NISA. And if that happens, I mean,
you know what this is good for?
Competition,
youth development.
I mean, absolutely.
Because now you're having multiple leagues.
And I mean, to be straight up with you, like I said, if this works out like Peter Wilt wants it to, with what, 128 was it? 128
120, yeah, like 20. So I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
it was 20, 24.
It is.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's the first 4 leagues in England is 128 teams.
It is fascinating. I think if it can get going, and I do believe Peter Wilt can get this going. I mean, we heard his experience, and I've read and seen about his vision. He has a concrete plan.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago Fire, Indy 11, the Chicago
Red Stars. He's done a lot. I do think this can take off, and if it takes off, it might be scary.
What it needs is a little bit of press and the financial backing.
It needs a big boy owner to get in there, you know?
Yes. And yeah, I'm interested to see if the Cosmos or Miami FC with Silva, these rich owners, will want to get into this.
I mean, with Silva's role in like TV rights and stuff, I mean,
it would be perfect because you'd have two. Cosmos would be into this weird division, right? The Cosmos and NISA would I think it's going to fold. But by going into the NISA,
hopefully not.
Pending litigation. By going into NISA, you are taking history. You are taking rich owners who want to create. This is if I were Peter, I'd go straight to them and be like, "Come on board." No, seriously, I would. The foundation of the league would be founded on those two clubs, and then you'd instantly create something, a buzz. You would have at least name recognition with the Cosmos. Miami FC, everybody kind of knows, but think about it. They also are going to compete in the U.S. Open Cup.
And they also
and
they also will compete if the owners have pockets. I mean, if NISA grows up a little bit, I mean, and like gets big quick. If all our deep pockets want to bring in a player from a star league, what are we looking at? A legitimate direct competitor with MLS.
What do you think MLS is doing right now? I think they're worried. The USSF.
I don't think MLS is worried. I think MLS is too cocky to be worried. I think they're seeing this and like, oh, it's a little thing. It'll end up dying off soon.
I think from a fan's perspective, now I want genuine soccer fans, and I mean those who. I think promotion relegation is becoming more of a topic of an understanding of what soccer culture is, the business aspect, and how we are going to compete as a nation on the international level. It seems like promotion and relegation system is needed. Andrea Pirlo, multiple players. Andrea Pirlo has said an open system would be wonderful. I am interested to see if Peter will, depending on how this goes, if they will merge at some point. You
kind of like the AFL and the NFL.
Yeah, like
remember Lamar Hunt created the AFL. I want to say the Dallas Texans, then moved them to Kansas City, and you had them merge, and now they're the NFL, NBA, and ABA.
History tends to repeat itself.
Is there? Didn't the MLB have some kind of
AL and NL, the American League and the National League?
I mean, the way.
Now, let me say, I'm not a historian with the baseball. Okay, I like the Red Sox, but God, let me tell you, baseball.
I mean, hey, if that happens, I find it fascinating.
But when he said 128 teams, both of our eyebrows literally perked.
Now we can actually see each other. Like we both had the same reaction.
Wait a minute, this is interesting now. Like at first, I thought this was going to be something among the lower divisions. Maybe they'll get as high as Division 2.
No, this is Peter Wilt. He looks far beyond that. He's a very insightful man. That's something I've learned through reading his history, reading his posts, reading his vision. He is the one guy I think that can help establish a promotion. That's why I asked that question. Has any candidates reached out to you? I think his vision is the one that you can implement. It's a very realistic vision, and it's something, NISA, all this. I mean, like I said, I'm going to be honest with you. If they can get the proper press, which they won't because soccer isn't that big of a country, but if they can.
Well, it depends on the owners, but what they need to do is go after young kids.
Like us.
But young kids like us from the media.
Are you talking about like the terms of players?
Players-wise, you go young and you go do what MLS is. You start poaching because what NISA, the biggest advantage NISA will have is they're probably going to smaller markets, and I think soccer tends to thrive off that community feel. So I wouldn't be surprised if they tap into San Antonio, Austin, Texas, Columbus, depending on what the crew.
If the Columbus lose the crew, it's a guarantee. I think. They'd be in there.
I can name. I could name 10 markets right now.
Name them.
I think if I were in Peter, okay.
One place I would target?
Where?
Right here.
Dallas. Yes. You go somewhere else in the Dallas. You put pressure on. This will make MLS better too, by the way, depending on
competition. Is the basics of economics.
Austin, Texas.
Why Austin?
depending if MLS goes or not goes.
If they go, no Austin. If they don't go, Austin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Louisiana.